Teacher Talking Sports, what it does, what do, how we live. And it was the 2022-23 season where the Sacramento Kings snapped a 16-season playoff-less streak by finally reaching the Western Conference postseason field. While they did lose in 7 games in the opening round to the Golden State Warriors, they seemed like an ascending team, except that hasn't necessarily been the case. As 2023-24, they reached a play-in tournament, but were unable to advance. And last season, they actually dipped to under 500. Again, play-in tournament, but were not able to reach the playoffs. So now a 2-season playoff-less streak, so 1 season of the last 19. Of course, last off-season, the Kings acquired DeMar DeRozan, thinking that he could be a piece that could get them back in the playoff positioning, maybe even enhance their title chances. As I mentioned, they finished 40-42, so that wasn't necessarily necessarily what happened. And there's already been rumors that DeRozan could be traded. Well, Paul Pierce, of course, Boston Celtics legend, has an interesting take on where DeRozan should possibly go. I was trying to find audio of this. I was unable to, but it's via NBA Central's X, not NBA Central. I know, I don't get trolled like a lot of people do. But anyhow, Paul Pierce says the Nuggets should trade Michael Porter Jr. for DeMar DeRozan. One of his quotes, "I feel like if they had a DeMar DeRozan with that team right now, with Joker, he don't need to be the best player or the second best player every night. He's going to give you more than what Michael Porter Jr. gave you." Yes, Michael Porter Jr. was hobbled with an injury and really did not perform well, especially during that Western Conference semifinals against the Oklahoma City Thunder, where it went 7 games. But DeRozan is nearly a decade older. He will be 36 years old when next season starts. Meanwhile, Michael Porter Jr. will be 27, so a 9-year difference. And, while DeRozan is definitely the more prolific scorer, he's a guy who's scored more than 20 points per game for well over a decade. He hasn't really been a ceiling raiser. We take a look at some of his numbers in his career. If we scroll down, he averaged 22.2 points per game last season with the Sacramento Kings. Solid shooting number, 47.7%. Of course, he's a guy who's never been much of a three-point shooter. Last season was only the second season where he averaged more than 1 3-pointer made per game. And both of those seasons were just 1.1. And, shoots it at a lower than average rate. And, that's Michael Porter's his claim to being at least a solid player in the league. He's a very good 3-point shooter. This past season shot 39.5% and is at 40.6% for his career. So no, he's not putting up those scoring numbers that DeRozan is, as it's actually been 12 straight seasons where he's averaged at least 20 points. But, as good as DeRozan has been scoring the ball, one thing that's always been interesting with him is his on-off splits. They really haven't favored him much at all. And I think I scrolled past it. Where is advanced? Play-by-play. That's what I'm looking for. So for his career, teams have actually been better with him off the court than on. And I get that that's not always fully on the player, and sometimes a good bench is going to be a other team's bench, and DeRozan, of course, has been with the starting lineup for much of his career. And while the Kings were better with him on the court, you see many of those on-off splits in the negative for his career, and for his career is in the negative. And teams that barely outscore their opponent with him on the court, just 0.2 points per game. Of course, you can say that the Raptors won the championship the year after he left, albeit, they got Kawhi Leonard in the deal, so that helped quite a bit. But yeah, he might have put up the most quiet 25,000 career points in league history, I mean, he's going to make the Hall of Fame. I mean, most guys that have 20,000 career points make the Hall of Fame. I think only Anton Jameson and Tom Chambers are guys who are eligible for the Hall of Fame with 20,000 plus career points and haven't made it. DeRozan, 25,000 career points and counting because his career's not over. But what are your thoughts? Does Paul Pierce give DeRozan a team that would fit well with him? Again, he's not a three-point shooter, which Michael Porter Jr. is. DeRozan, yes, is the better scorer, but to me, he's just not someone who's really going to raise a team ceiling at this point, and I feel like it's been like that for a few seasons now, as good a scorer as he can be. But yeah, Paul Pierce putting the thought in people's minds: should the Denver Nuggets pull the trigger if a trade was like that was ever in play? Or do you think DeRozan is, kind of the way I feel of him? I think he's a very great scorer, and he's had a very good career. I just, I don't really see much of a fit for him for any contending team. His career is going to continue, but I'm just not sure that's the right move for the Nuggets. But let me know in the comments. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.